Hey guys, Susie here, and there is a cool new feature finally in Canva that I've been praying for endlessly, and it's here. This morning, I was still creating a printable for my own personal use, and I'll show you in a minute what it is. But now you can actually recreate it in Canva easily, and it's all about creating tables. If you don't know, I have courses that help you create a full-time income from home by creating these small digital products like printables, worksheets, binders, whatnot. And you can do it all with programs like Canva. So if you want to learn more about the program that I have designed for thousands of students that have gone through it and see their case studies and success stories, just go in the description below and click on the Printables by Number course. But let's get into how to actually create tables in Canva and why this is so awesome. So this morning, actually about an hour ago, I was creating this 90-day plan. Just a little checklist for John and I. We both run our businesses online, and just a checklist of what we at least have to do per week. You can have a very intricate planner. You can design the most elaborate schedule for yourself, but it boils down to creating content that people like and putting yourself out there and then serving them. All right, so here is our 90-day plan that we're going to follow until May. It's just creating videos, emailing our list, going live, writing blog posts, and maintaining all the awesome stuff we already have. So I love PowerPoint. PowerPoint is my jam, but Canva is really awesome too. And the reason why I created this in PowerPoint was because of this table design, right? Look how cool I made this awesome table. But now you can recreate this in Canva. So let's try to recreate this exact 90-day plan in Canva and see how it goes from there. After I save it as a PDF, I'm going to take it over. I already sent it over to Staples, and they're going to print it out for me, and it's going to go against the wall, and we're just going to check off as we go through it. You can create these printables and digital products to sell for yourself on your website, on Etsy. You can use it for your own personal stuff, like creating a chore chart for your kids, or a task list for yourself, like I just did. All right, so we're going to go in here and click on Create a Design, and I'm going to do Custom Size. I'm going to do a poster. And I'm going to do it in inches because I want it to be 24 by 18 inches. All right, create design. So this is a landscape poster. This is one of the sizes that they can print out at Staples that I just really like. I do all my calendars in this size, and it just works really well for me. All right, so we have our blank canvas here. I'm going to go into Elements, and if you scroll down, you're going to see the new section here of Tables. So we click on See All. There's different types of tables, and we can use colored ones that have already a nice little palette to them, or we can just use a very simple one, like this all black one. Let's see what we can do here in this very simple table before we try to adjust it to what we created before. All right, if we click on these three little dots here at the top, we can add a column before, add a column after. You can see here, before or after. We can move a column to the left or right. So let's say video number 1. If we want to move this to the right, I have the column selected, and I'll say move, I believe, to the left. There you go. So move to the left, and we'll do this one as video number 2. All right, so we have them then. If we accidentally put here a blog post, and we actually want that in that column, without rewriting it, we can move it to the left. Okay. So here's our rows. So we can say this is March, week 1, week 2. All right, if we want to add another column here at the bottom, I believe a row, add a row here at the bottom. We can do a row after, and we can continue doing that. I would suggest it takes a little while to add these rows and columns. So once you have a very large table, to save it as a template so you can just refer back to it later. I want to make this pretty small, so I'm going to make sure that my font inside of my table is small because it'll be a pretty large poster. So I'm going to make it all 20. I'm going to try to make them as small as possible before I start adding more columns. Otherwise, it's going to get a little hairy with the columns falling off the table or off the page. All right, so what else can we add here? We can size the rows equally. So you can see they're all equal now, or we can do just Control Z and go back to what we had. We can size the columns equally, although they were still kind of okay. So say, for example, that was our column. As you were moving it, you accidentally made them unequal. So you can click on the little 3 buttons here and say size columns equally, and that will make it look all great again. That is definitely a very useful feature. All right, so I'm going to go through and add week 4, week 3, and then week 4. And then I'm going to add a row after. I'm just going to keep doing that until I recreate the table that we have here. So this one's about 18 rows by 7 columns. All right, let me recreate it on this side and I'll speed it up a little bit. So as you can see here, we made this column pretty large. So I'm going to go back and click on size columns equally. That looks way better. I actually also added an extra column. So I'm going to click on that one and say delete column. Perfect. So that's looking good. Let's go back to filling out our rows here on this side. And I can just select some columns by clicking on it and holding in shift and going to the bottom. So that will select all 4 of those. And then I'm going to do May. Again, shift, copy them, and then Control V paste them. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I can see some of my rows aren't exactly the same size as these above. So I'm going to go on my 3 little buttons here and say size rows equally. It's still looking pretty good. Let's see if I can make this just a little smaller. This is looking great. All right, I like it. All right, what I don't like about this is my borders are a little too thick. So I'm going to click on the borders. And first of all, I'm going to click on the cell on the whole table. So I have the whole table selected. Make sure that it's not just doing that one cell. Let's double check. So if I make my border weight much smaller, it's actually just doing it for that one. So I'm going to click on the top right cell and then select the whole table with shift. And I'm going to make all of them much thinner. So I like the 2. Looks kind of nice. You can also, if you want to change the border of just that one cell here at the top, you can see I don't really want the borders here in that corner. So I'm going to click on that one cell and say the border should be white. I think it's going to look a little off then. I'm going to select these 2 cells, or just the March one here at the top. It has the border of all black. And then put the border back on this one and say its border is all black. All right, so we have that white box here at the top. I think that looks kind of professional. All right, I'm going to select my table, and I am going to have a table spacing. So this would mean I move all the little cells apart from each other here. So you can see they're all not connected, which it does look nice. Or if you just want to keep it clean, they can all be on one line there. For March, I'm going to select March and then go all the way to the back and select that row. And I'm going to make that row a different color. Let's see. There you go. I'm going to make it red. I'm going to make March just a little larger so it stands out. Make it bold. And then do not think I can center it. I could make the borders of that one row red. So let's see what that looks like. So now it has no top and bottom, but the rows are still there. We can do that to April. Select it. Make it bold. And March was font 27, so we'll make this 27 as well. And lastly, we'll do it to May. Select the whole row. Have the shading of it, 27, and then bold. All right, that's starting to look pretty nice. I like it. So this is a table that I obviously just created in PowerPoint because it was easier for me, and I really like using PowerPoint. But now I don't always have to use PowerPoint, especially when it comes to tables. I'm going to select the whole table and change my font to Railway, which is my favorite. And if I increase the size of my font, it increases it everywhere, but not if March was a little larger and was it 31 and the week was the text in there was a 24, it's going to change them all a little larger, not all to the exact same big font. All right, I'm just gonna make that a capital. That looks better. I want to look really good. All right, so here is my table. All right, so one thing that you might see in the table that I made in PowerPoint was these little boxes here, little check boxes. I absolutely love them. I add them to a lot of my tables that I create for printables, and they're pretty easy to create. You just put a little space there, and then you use the bullets here, but you use actually a square bullet, so it adds little check boxes to every cell. Can't really do that in Canva. If we do put a space in there, we could add a bullet, but it only has a circle or a number. So they don't have the little square check boxes yet. The way to get around this is actually by going back to Elements, searching for square, and then adding a very tiny square into here, and then trying to center it so that it looks right. Just if you were wondering why I had those cute little boxes in PowerPoint, but not in here, you'll have to manually do them because it's not built in yet as a bullet. But that is how you would do it, and then you would copy and paste and line them up ever so nicely and redo that repeatedly. What I would suggest is do a couple rows, and now I'm already doing it. Look at me go. And then select them with the Shift button. There you go. And do duplicate. So you can either go here, duplicate, or you can do copy paste. Let's see, I forgot to select that middle one. And then I would just do the first section up there, and then I would copy all of them and put them down here as well. And then to make sure that you don't move everything at the same time and then accidentally move the table and it's all not aligned anymore, you can click the little undo button there, or just Control Z. I would select everything, move it to where you want it to be, and click on that little lock there so that nothing can be moved around accidentally. All right, so that helps a little bit with locking it. All right, so I have one template here that is locked. I made a little duplicate of the page just by clicking that button up there. So this one is locked and this one is not locked. You can see it doesn't have that lock button. And then if you go into styles here on the side, you can click on a different style and you can see the colors and the fonts of the entire template is going to change. So you can see the rows of my months changed and the font, but if we go into page 2, the one that's locked, it will not change anything that's locked. So just a little tip so you know, if you want to change styles, if something is locked, it won't change. Very interesting. Or we can go back to the top one that's unlocked and we can click on different styles and it'll change both the fonts and the colors. And the more times you click on a style, it'll shuffle through the different variations there. That one's actually cool. I like that. I'm going to do Control Z and go back to this one. All right, I kind of like that. You can edit some of it. So if I don't like the background that much, I can make that white again. My borders, kind of want to keep black. I'm going to select the whole thing, go to borders, make them black. The yellow did work. So you can play around, find a style that you like, and then keep it if you want to. All right, I'm just going to delete these little boxes that I added. I first have to select all of them and then unlock them. And then I can click on the little trash can and delete them just because they were an example. If you have them locked, you can't do anything with them until you unlock them. So pretty cool, nifty feature. I think accidentally, okay, this one needs to go a little bigger. This one accidentally had an extra column. So I'm going to click on that and delete the column. This looks better. One of my columns is now out of sync with the others. I'll click on my button here and size the columns equally. That looks much better. I'm going to add a title, go to text and add a nice title. Susie's 90-day plan. Select all that, make it railway. Drag it to be a little smaller. Center it. And place it on there. It's still a little big. I'm very nervous it's going to be cut off when it's printing. So let's see if we can make all of these columns just a little smaller so everything fits just a little bit better. So the way to do that is to go into the button up here and click on cell spacing. So I'm going to make the cell spacing as small as possible. So I'm just going to track here from the bottom. This is where I want the table to be. So I'm not going to accidentally cut it off when I send it to Staples. That looks good. Move that down. And then we're going to size the rows equally. All right, that looks really good. I do like that a lot. Okay, so once you're done with it, you like your plan, or the table that you created, I would highly suggest saving this as a template or coming back to it and making a duplicate of it. You can go to File, make a copy, so that you don't always have to come and struggle and create the same table that you did previously, because it did take us a couple minutes to have it set up just like that. And once you're done, you can download it as a print PDF and just download the one page that you like. And you can upload that to Staples and they will print it out for you. I don't have a poster printer, so I like kind of outsourcing this part of the creation of the product. All right, so once I have this all done, then that's how you can use awesome tables in Canva. Not perfectly exactly how I like to use tables in PowerPoint. PowerPoint's still a little easier for me. It was much faster to create this in PowerPoint than it was in Canva, but it is awesome that Canva now has this feature. So pretty awesome, cool new feature. If you guys do want to learn how to create small digital products like these and sell them to a full-time income, check out the Printables by Number course below. Also check out the case studies of how other students have done this with their printable businesses. Anyway, leave a comment if you want more videos like this, and I will see you soon. Thanks.